What's up, everybody? We're just going straight live. Why? Because I forgot to hit the video intro. But we're also going live because we got to get Andrew Erickson in and out. He's a busy man, crushing it over at Fantasy Pros. So let me bring him on in here. What's up? My probably top two Andrews in the industry, I would say.
Dude, easy the top two Andrews in the industry.
I mean, definitely top two Andrews, in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and got to be top two that at least spent time living in Waltham, right? So that part of the market, I think we have cornered, and we're just working our way up and up.
Yes, we have a monopoly on the Andrews that live outside the Boston area in Massachusetts that are also following fantasy football careers, basically.
Within a certain distance of Moody Street in Waltham. I think that's
Yes.
that's our target area. So thank you for joining us, man. How's your season going? How are you doing in like Scott Fishbowl and some of the industry leagues? You hanging in?
No, not on Scott Fishbowl that much. I will say though, Thursday night, that game, obviously fantastic game to watch. Thursday nights have been traditionally very bad for the Andrew Erickson bags when it comes to a lot of guys that I'm heavily invested in, and Mark Andrews coming back he's coming back from the dead. Love seeing him catch touchdowns again and not be absolutely terrible. So that's good. And then Jamar Chase, he was my wide receiver one. So to see him just go absolutely nuclear, you'd love to see it. So
That's beautiful. I'm playing against him.
Just log out now.
I'm out. But I had him in my captain seat for draft. I made a little money yesterday in DraftKings. Had him in my captain seat.
Ooh, nice.
On DraftKings, 87.6 points in that format. So that was pretty good. Pretty good start. Yes. But here we're talking about a different format this week. We're talking about FFPC. For those that have never made a weekly lineup or played, here's how it works. No salaries, no drafts. The only rule, as crazy as it sounds, is that you can't start two players from the same team. So we can make an absolute insane loaded lineup. And the beauty of that is that you can't get beat by people stacking, right? Like if you didn't have Chase and Burrow, then you got crushed last night in any sort of DFS. You can't do that here. You had to pick one or the other. So what we're going to do here, folks, is we're going to go through, we're going to hit every game, and we're just going to tell you who the absolute chalk is or who the sneaky, really good matchup guys are that could have like a crazy breakout game. So I'm going to pull up this little, our tech guys. I don't know. They use some incredible program to create this. It's just beautiful. I have never heard of such technology, whatever it happens to be, but man, it looks great. It's got the over-unders on the left right here. It's got the spreads here. And then these implied point totals using very complex formulas, figuring out what the implied amount that each team should score based on those over-unders and spreads. So that's how we're rocking today. Folks in the chat, thank you for joining us. And if you have questions, do us a favor and try and throw them in there when we're talking about each kind of game, right? So like right now, we're going to talk Giants-Panthers. If you have any Giants-Panthers players in there, throw them out there. We see you guys hanging out. What's up, Jerry? Nico Collins, what's the latest on him, Erickson? Is he going to play?
Well, he's been activated off IR, but he's still TBD whether he's playing or not. And considering how bad the Texans have looked without him, you think that they would be more vocal and be like, yeah, he's back, baby. Like, get excited. We got a chance to win. But it seems they've been very non-committal about Nico Collins. So, and the fact that he's missed practices this week too, I'm not too optimistic.
If he doesn't play, people are once again going to be tricked into starting Dalton Schultz. When will they learn? When will they learn? Jerry faced Chase and Burrow. You should have played better defense, Jerry, but you started Lamar and Chase Brown.
So shootout.
You're all right. Yeah.
It's unfortunate because that means someone's going to lose that matchup despite being the second highest scoring team that week.
Classic. At a tale as old as time. Greg says, hail to the Commanders. What's up, Greg? What's up, Greg? Thanks for popping in. Mile High Luke, what's going on, dude? That's my Pros with Joe's partner there and a family member. What's happened? We got an, oh my God, it's Erickson. It is, dude. We're going to rock an FFPC. We're going to take it down. We've been on a drought here, I must say. We finished in the money with Bob Harris. We finished in the money with Dave Kluge. Very close with Rich Rebar, quarterback away. That's how close this gets, Erickson. If we had started Lamar Jackson over Jaden Daniels that week, we would have came in first and had the highest score of any one of our games this year. Instead, we came in 11th out of 30. That's how far it can swing. So a lot of chalk going here. We have one question before we get popping here. DM7819 says, hello. Mahomes or Goff? I'm down 35 points already. Goff would be paired with Montgomery in a full PPR if that matters. So we have Goff going against the Texans and Mahomes going against the Broncos. What do you think?
I could play the Lions. I mean, I think that they can score 40 points, combined efforts. Again, you're probably not going to get any. I mean, didn't Montgomery throw a touchdown to Goff one time already? So
He
hey,
did.
maybe it'll happen again. But I think the Texans, you look at how you beat them, highest passing touchdown percentage allowed this season. So I think Goff's going to throw some tutties. So I'm going to roll with Goff.
Hopefully, yeah. I think that this is one of the weeks where they're kind of going to be forced to throw. Some of these games have been a little too easy for them so far. All right, let's get into it. First one here, Giants at Panthers. This game is in Germany, 9:30 a.m. We're sending our finest over there to show them what we got, right? And 40.5 point over under, Giants favored by 6.5. Let's just get this out of the way. Are there any Panthers that we would even consider starting?
Panthers? No. I'm already jumping to the next team.
Yeah.
No Panthers for me.
Well, I just figured we'd get them out of the way. Another thing, Erickson, just so you know, that Rich Rebar started doing this, and we've been doing it for the last couple of weeks, is that there are players that we're not going to put in our lineup, but we put them on the sheet out of respect. So if there's a player that you really like, that you're like, you know what, maybe we don't use him this week, but we got to give him a shout out. We got to put some respect on his name. We can put him in the sheet. So if you were like big, if you're a big Chuba guy or whatever.
Chuba just got paid, man. I mean, running backs don't get paid. I think we got to give him some respect.
Again. See, there we go. That's the spirit. We're not going to use him. I mean, it's against the Giants, but probably not. But out of respect. On the Giants side,
I jumped the gun. Tyrone Tracy.
He's
set
up to smash. He's been awesome, man. Yeah, the Panthers have been one of the worst teams, and you look at his skill set. Obviously, converted wide receiver, and look at what Alvin Kamara has done in 2 games against the Panthers. What did he have last week? Like 200 yards from scrimmage.
Something ridiculous.
215.
Something absolutely ridiculous. I think it's simple as they're favored. Running backs facing a bad team, a good running back, especially with Tyrone Tracy. I mean, I think that Singletary could even score points in this matchup too. So, I just think that the Giants. I mean, last week against the Commanders, all hail to the Commanders. The Giants ran the ball. I think it seemed like every single snap in the first half they were just running the ball every single time. Right. So I think they're going to do the exact same thing here.
I'm all for it, man. With the usually we only talk about the chalk de la chalk, which neighbors typically we'd consider, but I don't know if we're gonna we can only pick one from this team.
Not in this spot.
Yeah. Mile High Luke wants to know your thoughts on Jalen Coker. Are you one of the Coke boys? One of the are you one of the duffel bag Coker stashers out there?
Well, I mean, I grew up right near where Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. So I like Jalen Coker a lot. So for me, I think he's okay to go back to as like a flex play, low end wide receiver 3 play. He was really close to scoring 2 touchdowns last week. So I know last week was the hype. Guys, sometimes we're just a week too early. It happens. So I think Coker is not the worst play you could trot out there. And if he gives you a 0, then hey, you can shoot for more upside in your lineup the rest of the way.
Yeah, they split the snaps between Coker and Mingo, and they said, Mingo, you're out of here, dude. So there you go.
4th round pick for Mingo. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Jerry, what are you doing?
I feel bad for Mingo too, because he's getting just clumped into this, and it's like, dude, like it wasn't my choice to go for a 4th round pick.
Yeah, and dude, the GM Jim Bowden, he's a Cowboys fan, and he pointed out that historically the Cowboys are actually really good at picking 4th round pick players. He rattled off Dak. Dak was one. Both tight ends.
Pollard, right? Yeah,
Pollard. Both tight ends, Ferguson and Schultz. It's like he's like, those are the only picks that they're good at. You know what I mean? He's like, it's pretty crazy. Jerry, you got to let us know who the other options are for like a flex question. But Xavier Legette, he's in the conversation, but we got to know who the other options are. Mo Betts wants to know Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, or DeAndre Hopkins. Tough matchup for Hopkins going up against Patrick Surtain. But
yeah, I still think that Hopkins is probably the safest from a floor. I mean, Jennings, one of these 49ers is going to pop off for sure. So again, if you're facing the Jamar Chase Brown, Joe Burrow juggernaut, I think you just super ceiling, and I would just play Jennings, to be honest. I mean, we've seen him have monster games, so.
For sure. And again, this one, folks, try and help us by throwing the questions in there, if possible, on the games we're talking about. Right now, we're going to talk about Steelers, Commanders. Steelers are dogs in this one, 2.5 point dogs, 45 point over under, but should be a good one. Real quick, who do you think wins this one? This is a tough one.
I think the Commanders win. I think it's going to be Commanders win, Steelers cover, because Mike Tomlin always covers road underdog. Or it doesn't matter. He's just got to find a way to cover.
He's got to find a way to cover. He's got to find his way to get to like just barely over 500 by the end of the season. So, yeah, I love Tomlin personally. Like, I think he's a good coach, but he's doing his best with what he's got.
I don't think he's ever won Coach of the Year though. So weird.
Is that true?
I'm pretty sure he hasn't won it, and it's weird because it is bizarre.
That's wild. So, okay, are there any Steelers we're going to consider in this one?
I don't think so. I think for me, I'm good passing on the Steelers. I think Commanders' defense is underrated, especially when they play at home. And I mean, they have dual running backs. Pickens is boomer bust. I think the Commanders' secondary is not as bad as it once was. So I think I'm cool passing on the Steelers.
The defense has played better, and they just got Marshawn Lattimore.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure he's going to be out there. Yeah, you got to just throw him out there. He'll figure it out. On the Commander side, there's some names in there. This guy, I mean, I think that a guy like Jaden Daniels is always under consideration, right?
Yeah. But is this a quote-unquote smash spot for Daniels is the question and the concern of, again, I mean, the Steelers are never a good matchup, really. The dual backfield, it is Terry that's kind of been he's kind of like the main receiver, so but not a ton of volume always. So I mean, I honestly like the under in this game overall, to be honest. Like, I don't think this is a shootout in any way. I think it's more of a AFC North type of, even though again, only the Steelers are representing the North here. I think it is it
feels like that though.
Yeah, it feels like that kind of battle. Yeah. So I'm not like super into the offensive players in this matchup.
Yeah. Mile High Luke's clamoring for Pickens. I think at the end of the day, even if we were to put him on the sheet, there's just too many good options out there to go with a guy like Pickens. So maybe we'll just stay away from this one. Next one here, Falcons Saints. This one has a 46.5 over under. Falcons only favored by 3.5, which I thought was a little suspicious given what's going on with the Saints. But I've learned to trust Vegas. They seem to generally know some things. If we're going to go with the Falcons, got a lot of stars. So what are you thinking on that side?
Bijan, right? I mean, the Saints can't get out of their own way. I mean, they're still trying to tackle Sean Tucker, man. They're still trying to stop this guy.
Just rolling around on the ground. The Saints, I believe, are giving up the most yards of any team, just flat out yards on defense, which was surprising because the Panthers are obviously very close there. But yeah, they've been rough.
Yeah,
and they just traded away their best player on defense.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. I mean, Dennis Allen. Again, I don't know how much. He was still the defensive play caller, right? So that matters. So now they have a new person calling defensive plays. So that contributes to, okay, do we get coverage breakdowns now? Big plays for the Falcons. And with Bijan, it's just so safe because it's like, doesn't matter what the game script is. Like, he's either catching passes or getting rushing attempts. Because again, like you said, the line, right? It's the dead cat bounce. Teams just play better after they fire their head coach that they don't like.
It's so true. It's so true. I mean, it's even been proven.
Yeah.
Like, the number of teams that cover the spread in those games. I think that's why they're hitting us with this line.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's a divisional matchup too. So weird things always happen in divisional matchup. I would do in the chat, Jerry's shouting out Taysom Hill, which I think is, I mean, Taysom Hill can score touchdowns at an absurd rate. So Jerry. I think, but
Jerry, no.
No on the top.
Bad. The thing is, Taysom Hill, I think is definitely a good play in standard half PPR, but this is a tight end premium format FFPC.
That is true. So you don't really benefit as much. Yeah,
we're chasing targets. Yeah. So plus he drives me nuts.
I can definitely imagine that, him driving you nuts.
I'm trying to rank guys, and it's like, we have this whole process, get the spreadsheets out. We're looking at target share, and it's just this guy is like. And the craziest part is the Taysom fans, like Jerry, like, will continue to start him. And then, like last year in fantasy playoffs, he goes out and scores like 0.2 points. And it's just like mind wipe. Everyone forgets that happened. It's just Men in Black mind wipe every season. Like, you just forget that, like, oh yeah, I started that guy and then I lost, but here we are again. So just be careful with Taysom Hill. Okay, everybody. What an enigma. 34-year-old gadget fullback. Superstar.
Wow.
Now, would we consider Alvin Kamara here?
Oh, I just lost my drop back. My drop back on my video. Kamara. Yeah, I think that he's worth considering here too.
Out of respect.
Yeah, out of respect.
Nobody else in the Saints though. Unless you want to get like Mason Tipton in there.
No, please no.
I started him. I had to start him in a league last week and just 0 catches on 4 targets. Very painful day from Mason Tipton. Okay, here we'll definitely have players from this game. 49ers, Buccaneers, 50.5 point over under, 6.5 point favorites for the 49ers, but Buccaneers still projected to get 22 points. Last week, the Buccaneers were projected to only score 18 based on the implied point totals, and they played above that. So maybe they can do it again.
Yeah.
Let's start with the 49ers because that's a tougher call.
I mean, is there a 49er we don't want to play? Like that's kind of the way it's which again. So we need to lock in a 49er. I think can we agree on that? We got to pick one. So is this a scenario
we can the thing is we can put a few in the sheet too, because we always circle back and then we go okay, we used this guy, so now we just delete out these other guys.
So I would just throw in the top. So Purdy, CMC, Debo, and Kittle.
Yeah, we just fill it's easy to do it like that.
Just fill the deck.
Yeah, Kittle, I mean, like this is a very good matchup for him. It is not a good matchup for Kate Otten, I will say. Fred Warner and Devondre Campbell have been real problems. And
are you telling me the Kate Otten scam is over?
I don't know. I don't know if it's over. I think he's the thing about him is he's like Rocky. Like he goes out and just gets beat to a pulp every week, and it's just like watching bumper cars watching this guy. But like, I mean, he's brute forcing his way. But I mean, this matchup is so bad. During this stretch where Kelsey has averaged 10 targets a game over the last 4 games, and they played the 49ers during this stretch, and he had 17 runs. So I'm just like, Kate Otten, it's hard not to still rank him like top 5, 6 because Engram's missing his quarterback, Ferguson's missing his quarterback, Njoku's on bye, somebody else is Bowers is on bye, so he still has to be ranked high. But in something like this, I'm not going to use.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't even know if there's any Buccaneers we want to use, to be honest.
No, because the backfield is a mess. Otten has become wide receiver 1, and like half the receivers are hurt. I don't even know who's playing. McMillan's injured. Shepard is injured. I mean, they're gonna get Mason Tipton too. Trey Palmer, Mason Tipton, these guys.
Those are my guys, dude. Those
are so much cardio for these guys.
Superstar cardio, sacrificial X. Call them what you want. They're out there, dude. It's like if you like Jameer Byrd, then these are your guys. Would you trade? Mad Max wants to know: would you trade BTJ for Debo?
Yeah, I think I would, because I don't think this Trevor Lawrence injury is necessarily short term. Like it's like his shoulder, so that's concerning for me. So and Debo, I think, is a great buy. I mean, when he's healthy and Ayuk misses games, like he smashes. So yeah, I would make that trade.
Right, and the thing about Debo, guys like Debo and Jaden Reed, is that they always get a carry and they get these manufactured touches, right? Yeah. Like they're always going to get a screen, they're always going to get a carry, so they do have a floor that you kind of only assign to like running backs. Next one, we have another question here from this game. Or actually, this is a different game, but I like Eric. Eric wants to know: should I drop Juju or Mike Williams?
I mean, I think Juju's like done. I would just drop him. I mean, he had one good game, got hurt, and then immediately got replaced by DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. So.
I was trying for a second there. I was trying to think of which player I like better, which is kind of a loaded question. But then I just had to think of like which player is just today.
Like Mike Williams has a much better shot of just coming down with a Russell Wilson moonball, because Juju lost his job is over. I mean, this is the reason why he could never make it with the Patriots, because he was always hurt, and like he's always hurt. Like he's never been healthy since his like second year in the NFL at this point.
Yeah, I think there's sometimes when you get these knee injuries, it's just like it's never the same.
Yeah,
so it's a shame, but I think that's the case here. Rashad White or Rico Dowdle? Not good matchup for either, because like White gets 49ers, Dowdle gets the what is that one? Eagles.
I think I'll probably just roll with Dowdle. I think he's going to get all the volume, whereas I don't know. They mix up the backfield so much in Tampa Bay that it's hard to trust. And Dowdle has been involved in the passing game a decent amount. Cooper Rush seems like he's going to just dump offs. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dude, I went back and watched the end of that game. He was putting it on these guys' hands. Jalen Brooks, you got to make some of those catches. I mean, not to pump up Cooper Rush a whole lot, but I mean, it didn't look that bad. Okay. It was bad. It was bad, but like
it's probably going to be bad.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. But I mean, dude, a couple of those throws are kind of crisp. That's all.
It is funny though when you look back at his game logs from the last time he started, you're like, man, like this guy was like pretty good. And then you're like, well, they could run the ball, they had an offensive line, and they had a good defense. All things they don't have anymore.
Things are going a lot better than I think the problem is going to be that this type of player needs a clean pocket, and Tyron Smith, Tyler Biotish did not walk in through that door. So okay, next game here, Patriots Bears. 38.5 point over under. 6-point favorites for the Bears. So Patriots, that's going to be a 16.525 is a rough implied point total. Anybody to consider or to throw some respect on their name?
No Patriots. I will put respect on Drake May, the next Michael Vick. Is that what we're looking at here with Drake May?
I think that's actually exactly correct. 8 for 95. I mean, people were worried he wasn't going to run. He came out and ran more than anybody else. Also, in your real leagues, I think that Hunter Henry, if you really break down the last 4 games with Drake May, has not been that bad. Like he's been tight end 8, getting some targets.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid. Again, his ceiling is obviously capped because of the offense that they play in. So he's never going to necessarily win you your week unless he scores. But no, he's been a steady asset, and he doesn't get zeros, which, hey, most tight ends, half of them get zeros. So
often, yeah. Like it's like people keep asking me about like Cole Kmet. I'm just like, haven't you been tortured enough?
The ultimate tease. Oh, he gets 2 touchdowns. He's back. And then he doesn't get targeted the next week.
That's what I'm saying. And he had, like, if you really think about it, that game that Keenan Allen missed, he got 11 targets, 11 of his 30 targets in that one game. And then right before people were about to drop him, he scored 2 touchdowns against the Jaguars, just stringing you along, man. And I'm sure by the end of the year, he'll somehow end up backdooring his way into like tight end 9, and then we'll be fooled again. It's a dangerous game. Bears side thoughts.
Swift. That would be the only guy for me. Yeah. Patriots can't stop the run. So
has there been a more drastic turnaround than how bad DeAndre Swift was the first 3 games to how good he's been?
It's a classic case. This happened 3 times this year. I've been keeping track where, hey, starter's been struggling. Report comes out, hey, we're going to get backup player X more involved. And then all of a sudden the starter starts to play way better.
Right, dude. That has, now that you pointed out, that has happened multiple times.
It happened with
it
happened with
Rashad White,
Swift, White, Javonte. They're like the first time that Sean Payton talked up Estime. Then he went out and balled out, and then Ramondre, like, yeah, we're gonna bench this guy if he fumbles again, and then he didn't fumble and he had a monster game. So
dude, that's the trick, dude. That's the oldest trick in the book. There are coaches that have done that. I remember Bruce Arians, especially when he was with the Cardinals, used to do that. He'd go to the media and be like, he goes, I know it says we have eight wide receivers on the team, but I count 2. Larry Fitzgerald and Smokey Brown, just absolutely just crushing his own team, just sending messages. Right? It works.
Who was that? Well, we're on the Cardinals. Who was that? Oh, man. They drafted a receiver, I think like the 2nd or 3rd round, that I feel like
from UMass?
No, it wasn't from UMass. It was just a guy that like I remember being super excited about. And I felt like a lot of us were really excited about it.
Dude, you can name they have like 10 of them. They did Andy Isabella, 2nd round, brutal.
Okay. Wasn't him.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Wasn't him. It was before them. It was
Hakeem Butler?
Nope.
Never. How far back we gotta go?
It was Bruce Arians. Because those guys were Kingsbury.
Oh, Bruce Arians?
Yeah, it was Bruce Arians.
They had John Brown. They had Jerron Brown. They had was it Michael Floyd?
No, it wasn't Floyd.
Dude,
it was
they've had so many of them.
It was like a 3rd round pick, like this, like shifty man. I'm gonna have to.
We'll get it. We'll get it eventually.
It's good. No, once somebody says, I'm gonna immediately know.
We're gonna cancel the rest of the show actually, and just think about this until we get it.
This is what dudes do. Just talk about random football players.
Random bros. Just see how many we can rattle. Folks in the chat, let us know if you know who we're talking about here, because they've had a few of those guys where I was like, yep, this is gonna be awesome. Okay, next game here. Let's move on. Chat, please save us. Vikings at Jaguars. Vikings big favorites here, 6.5. This opened up at -4, and then when the Trevor Lawrence news dropped, it went to 6.5. 43 point over under. Jaguars side probably gonna be a no for us, right?
Yeah. No, not with Mac Jones, please. Not against Brian Flores. He's gonna
No.
go through the blender. Not great.
He's gonna get cooked. Yeah. And then on the Viking side, though.
Yeah, is this the thing where we want to play Jefferson, but then he gets 100 yards and scores, and then it's over? Like,
Yeah.
is that like again? He doesn't have the chase games because the Vikings defense is too good, but he's so consistent. But this doesn't seem like a place where the Vikings are pushed, and they're not pushed. Jefferson is efficient and he's good, and you're happy you started him, but he ultimately isn't the week winning receiver you need in your lineup. And I kind of feel that about a lot of these Vikings players. Like I like Aaron Jones, but are we going to see more of Cam Akers again? I like Hawkinson, but not as much as I like Kittle. I don't think I need to go overboard on Vikings necessarily.
We've had weeks where our worst player in this format had like 70 yards and a touchdown, and we came in 17th place.
Yeah.
Like, so you're right. You do need like super chalk, but I think if he has 100 yards and a touchdown, he'll be worth it. So we'll circle back on that. Keep that thought in here. Drake May, Mac Jones, or Herbert here from Jamie?
Herbert, easy.
Yeah, Herbert's been good, man.
Yeah,
trade away Bijan for Devontae Adams and Kareem Hunt.
No for me, Matt. Keep Bijan.
Yeah. Should I offer Kate Otten and Cedric Tillman or Debo for CD? Oh, I mean, if you could trade Kate Otten and Cedric Tillman for CeeDee Lamb, then you do that immediately.
Yeah, I would do that.
If that's a question.
Yes. 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 Kate Otten, again, technically, I mean, you can sell high on Kate Otten. Like, yes, you should.
Yeah, I would do that for sure. Trade James Conner, McLaurin, Purdy for Gibbs and Debo. James Conner's playoff schedule is incredible. But
yes, you're always fingers crossed that he's there.
The edge of the knife. It really is with James Conner.
Like that's the only reason it's not a more obvious buy, because it's like, well, is he still healthy at that time? Like,
he's literally never been bad. He's never been bad, but he's also never played an entire season. Not one time. Friezo. So Freezy. Purdy isn't your starter.
Yeah, I would do this trade. Yeah, I'd get Gibbs and Debo.
All right. Last one, then we're going to jump back in. With Lawrence out, this one is about the Jaguars, which we're talking about now. Good job. Actually, so it's the next question, so we'll hit that one too. With Lawrence out, keep Ingram in or play Ertz? I'm just going Ingram in.
Yeah, I agree. Ingram.
You just got to chase the targets. It's still Doug Peterson. Ingram's going to get a bunch of tight end screens, and that's just how that works. CD for Aaron Jones and BTJ. I mean, no, because BTJ is playing with Mac Jones, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Aaron Jones has been very good, though.
Yeah. The only thing is just he has also the James Conner thing a little bit where you're like, all right, well, when's the penny going to drop? When is he going to miss a bunch of games?
I know. It's like it's one of those things where the Vikings, that's the entire reason they moved on, is that this guy can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So I would just stick with CD. I mean, CD is playing with Cooper Rush, so we're laughing about the BTJ thing, but he's just too good. Okay, next game here, Bills Colts. Bills favored by 4, which a little surprising, not favored by more. 47-point over under. Bills side, it's tight end premium.
Yeah, Kincaid's got a good matchup this week. I think there's a lot of Bills we can use. I like Amari Cooper a lot this week. This just seems kind of like his, hey, I'm gonna finally erupt because nobody believes me anymore, and I'm playing in a dome, and Keon Coleman's not playing. So, yeah, I think Amari Cooper could have that. Again, we're talking about before, hey, we got to have some receivers that are a little off the board that can score a top 5 week. Well,
right.
Let me introduce you to Amari Cooper.
Right? Like he is the quintessential, like, out of nowhere, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then just go away guy.
Yep.
And then we got to put Josh Allen's name, I guess, in here as well. On the Colts side,
Jonathan Taylor, I think deserves recognition. Bills don't have a great run defense, and they give it a lot through the receiving game. So, and then I think that's probably it for me. Josh Downs has, I think I'll bounce back, but I don't love his ceiling necessarily with the statue back there throwing the ball.
Last week we had Jake Trowbridge joined us, and he was like, he had never done this format, and he was so excited. He was like, I can just start 7 running backs if I want. And I was like, yep. I think we ended up with 6 in the lineup. Did pretty well, but not good enough to get it done. In PPR, I feel like when you, at the end of the day, and we had Saquon Barkley too, we had like everybody, but at the end of the day, there are some wide receivers that just put up crazy numbers in full PPR
Yeah.
that you have to have. Okay. Next one here, Broncos, Chiefs. Broncos not expected to score a whole ton of points. Chiefs favored by 7.5. They have a decent, 24.5 point over under there. DeAndre Hopkins probably gonna have Patrick Surtain on him. So maybe Kelsey.
I honestly I'd be cool scratching this game out, honestly.
Just the whole thing, right?
It's like two really good defenses, and I think that you're seeing the market react. Well, the Broncos just got killed by the Ravens, so their defense must not be as good. And it's like, well, the Ravens score on pretty much everybody. And then the Chiefs, their offense is back. Well, they played the Bucks, who basically get destroyed by every offense.
Everybody, yeah. Exactly.
So I think that you're going to see the Broncos defense play much better and probably see the Chiefs maybe regress a little bit offensively. So
right.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Broncos and Chargers both actually is that their defense is good and they don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Which is like bad for the over, right? Yeah. It's like you need somebody to screw up.
You need Will Levis.
Exactly. Yeah. You need like a bad special teams or somebody to screw up, right? And like Harbaugh and Peyton are just like such hard nosed, like they keep it too tight for crazy games, But Kelsey and Kittle are kind of in a tier of their own this week because you look around and it's like McBride's got a bad matchup. Auden has a worse matchup. Ingram has a backup quarterback. Ferguson has an even worse backup quarterback, or maybe not. I don't even know who's worse. And it's like you go down the list and the guys that no Njoku, no Bowers, like the guys that were kind of the entire tier 2 all have like warts. So it's kind of like Kelsey or Kittle, I feel like.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
All right. What do we got here? Real quick questions. Pick 2, Rachaad White, Bucky, Ingram, Jordan Mason.
I will start half PPR. I'll start the Bucks guys. Just hedge.
Both of them?
Yeah.
With Pittman out, need to pick up a free agent and play them. Can drop Keon. Coleman's supposed to be out for a couple of weeks, it seems. Pick up Ray McLeod, Cedric Wilson, Parker Washington, Michael Wilson, Nick Westbrook-Akine, Mike Williams, Juju, Coker. What happened to Cole?
Coker for me. And I'd probably just drop. Do you need to hold Ertz? Keon's he's been a good rookie. He's obviously banged up, but I don't know. If I don't need to start Ertz at tight end, Ertz is just like depth, then I'd rather just play Coker. Yeah.
And Pittman's been confirmed out?
That's a couple people have said that in the chat. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I assume that they're not lying. But maybe I'm being naive.
That would be a funny conspiracy if the chat was just let's all go in here and lie.
Yeah, he's out. Dude, the Pittman thing, right? He's about to go on IR with his back injury, then plays the next 2 games, and then it's like, dude, and then he looks broken out there. Awful. And why are we putting this guy out there, right? He's just killing his numbers.
Right. He just looks like a hunchback out there. AJ Green used to do the same thing. It's like, dude, it's not helping. You going out and not catching any of your 4 targets is not helping.
Just another example of another receiver that got paid this year that isn't producing.
I know, dude. Why pay anybody?
Except Chase. Chase is the only guy getting paid.
Well, yeah. If you have Chase, you pay him. B-Rob and Connor for Gibbs.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
I would do that, yeah, especially if you're consolidating. All right. Last one here. Javonte and Spears because of buys. Do I throw Mason in for one of them?
No. I don't.
No,
I think
maybe Spears.
Oh no, he is starting both those guys, I think. And he's asking if we want to play
I'm
Mason.
saying can you put Mason over Spears?
Oh no. I'd play. Looks like I don't know how 100% Pollard did. Pollard can barely practice anymore because they give him so many touches.
They straight up said, they were like, dude, this guy,
he's literally going to die.
He's working overtime on the weekends, So all right. Well, speaking of that game, Titans 15.75 implied point total. Chargers 23.25. 39 point over under is pretty whack. Nobody on the Titans side, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Chargers side, also nobody.
Yeah, maybe. The only guy would be Dobbins, I think, honestly, just because it's a home game. He's playing a defense that, again, the Titans are that weird defense where they stack the box, which you think, it means they're going to run the ball, but it also means if J.K. Dobbins gets out of the stack box, he is gone. He's gone. So I think that Dobbins has low key, really high upside, but they could also be, So I think Dobbins is kind of under the radar because they should score touchdowns. They like to run the football, even though they've been throwing a little bit more. But yeah, I think Dobbins is kind of sneaky.
And the Titans defense is actually quietly kind of pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just a matter of him breaking out one of those boxes and
Yeah.
ripping off an 80-yarder.
And this isn't the format for Ladd McConkey. I mean, you can put him in your normal lineups, but like we're llooking for big time crazy upside. And he did have that 2 touchdown game, but it was basically him breaking off slants. You know, it's not like he was getting behind the defense. Jets at Cardinals. There's got to be somebody in here. 46.5, 1.5 point spread on the Jets side. We're not going to start Rodgers, obviously, but like
no. I mean, one of the Jets receivers. I mean, both of the guys have been really productive. Breece Hall, of course. I mean, if I had to start receiver, I would pick Wilson. So let's just throw him in there.
Quietly leading it's so weird that this is maybe the first year ever that I look at the guy leading the league in targets and I'm like, ew. You know, like Garrett Wilson leads the entire league in targets, and I'm still just like, you know, like usually that guy is like, yes, you know, like he's been good, and everywhere I have him, I start him every week, but still, I don't know why I can't get beyond it.
Because he's still not Aaron Rodgers' favorite receiver. Because we all know the truth.
I'm telling you right now, it's the sleeves.
My God, you're right, dude. He does not look aesthetically pleasing as a receiver. He's got to fix it.
It makes him look tiny. He looks, you know what it is? He looks like, in Willy Wonka, like Mike TV. They're making him smaller every commercial break. I think it's the stupid sleeves. It's just your arms look so small. It's the same with Keenan Allen.
Yes, dude. Same.
The baggy long sleeves. It's just like, what are you doing? So I don't know.
It's like receivers wearing 24. God.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Awful. Yeah, tight ends, they wear 47. I'm like, this guy can't be in my fantasy team. You know? All right. Cardinals side. Kyler Murray's been killing me, dude.
Well, dude, it's just like, you know, I was talking about on another show. I felt so sharp when I benched CJ Stroud last week for Kyler Murray.
Little did you know, dude.
Little did I know I made a grave mistake somehow.
Right.
It just all comes down to his rushing, right? Like in games he just decides to not run for some reason, like he just is horrible. But then in games where he starts scrambling around and you look up, he's like 25 points, like great. So
exactly. But it's just like these other games, they come out and he throws 1 touchdown pass and they win. I'm just like, how do I complain about that?
He's really
Who do I complain to? Because they're winning. You know what I mean? They've won 4 in a row.
They've won 3 games in a row for the first time in a long time. They broke a streak of, I think, 46 games when they won back-to-back.
They said that he went 3 games without getting sacked, and it was the first time that happened to a Cardinals QB since like the 80s. Or I think it was like 78 or something like that, which is
what about McBride? I think that he would probably be, because he still doesn't have a receiving touchdown this year.
Yeah. He's got he recovered a fumble.
He recovered a fumble, had a rushing touchdown last week.
Desperately scoring touchdowns somehow. But like the Jets have been pretty good against the tight end because they are not stupid. A lot of teams are like dumb, right? Where it's like they take their nickel corner and they're like, well, that guy's a tight end, so you can't they will just put a safety or a linebacker on him. The Jets have not been doing that. Like the Patriots game, they put Hunter Henry in the slot. They're like, well, we'll cover him with Michael Carter. And then, you know, and then it's over. So I do worry about that sometimes with the Jets, but he's got to be on there out of respect. Eagles, Cowboys. Eagles, big favorites here. Cowboys, scratch them all.
Yep, scratch the Cowboys. And I mean, I know we're not doing locks yet, but how's Barkley not like lock?
He is locked, and we are doing locks.
He's got to be a lock. Right? I'm not even gonna.
We're absolutely doing locks. Yeah, Barkley is in the lineup for sure. Yeah. Like that's how we survive. There aren't really a lot of guys that we're locked in on, but Barkley will be in the lineup.
100%. That's it.
Done.
I think that's.
That was the coolest play I've ever seen,
dude.
And the crazy thing about how cool that play is that it was already cool before the reverse hurdle.
I know.
The way he on the second of the cool moves that he did, because he jukes the first guy, the way he planted his foot before that spin move on the second guy was incredible.
Yeah.
And then he did the hurdle, and it was
it was the total opposite of when like you see a running back like start to just keep doing the spin move, right? And he does it once, it looks good, just twice. It's like, okay, it's like, and then the third time it just looks absolutely horrible. It's like, dude, like you're running out of steam, man. Like, what are you doing?
The whirling dervish, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, he's only got one move. That's like, it's like what movie is that where he's like, he's rolling the dice on the dance floor and like he's only got one move. Like, yeah, but no, Barkley's got Barkley's got a whole bag of them. So that was just incredible, man. I can't stop thinking about it. And AJ Brown's out, and it's not like we're gonna use Goddard or anybody.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit this next two. We're gonna have players from this. I was sitting here, I'm like, geez, we could even have a lineup here, but we got 49 point over under here for the night game. Lions Texans. Lions favored by 3.5. Let's start on the Texans side because that one's a little more difficult. Might not even. I mean, got to put Mixie Joe in here out of respect, right?
Yeah, put Mixon in there. But I mean, yeah, the only other guy would be Collins. I just don't know if Tank Dell, even if with all the volume, if he can get it done necessarily. But I guess he deserves a honorable mention, I would say.
With all the doctors in the fantasy space, which there are a lot of them, and they do a good job. Has anyone addressed the tightrope surgery situation where it's like these guys are having the surgery because it gets you on the field, but it gets you back like insanely quick, and like Mark Andrews last year, but over the full recovery to 100% seems like it takes a long time, right? Like Tony Pollard said he was not healthy. Darnell Mooney looked like trash last year, and this year he looks amazing. And then now Tank Dell does not look explosive, and Mark Andrews has up until very recently also looked really bad. Like somebody asked. Maybe I'll ask Edwin or somebody today. But like, have you seen anybody address that or talk about it?
I know I've definitely thought about it, right? Where you're concerned about why is this player struggling? Why is it such a slow start? And you go back to, well, they got this surgery.
Well, they have a bungee cord in their leg,
Yeah, right.
like it's
yeah. So
it looks bad. I mean, the surgery looks invasive. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but maybe we should get a professional to opine on that. On the Lions side, is this a fill the deck situation here? And we'll sort it out later.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Amon-Ra is always set up.
This game, the guessing game, Monty is so hard. This is like the worst format for Montgomery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he has to score two. He has to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. And the thing with Gibbs is he can always, it's so crazy. Like he has the highest success rate of any running back. He always hits his like longest rushing prop every single week. He doesn't even need volume to get it done. Like right. he's just so efficient.
It's too cool.
But yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one, I would pick Gibbs. So that's what I'd throw in there.
Yeah, and we can't start Laporta because he's been insanely bad. 24 targets in the season. What the heck?
Yeah.
Good thing we weren't taking the first quarterback off the board. It's like everyone is kind of absolved. No matter how bad your tight end pick has been, whether you picked Andrews or whoever, you can just point at Laporta and be like, well, at least it's not that bad.
Yeah. It's what happens when you just get vaulted to tight end 1 because of a really bad year for tight ends the year before. It's like
we're so stupid with that too, because every single one of us will say, don't chase touchdowns. Right. And then the dude scores 12 touchdowns and we're like, that's definitely what he's going to do every year. So oopsies. Circling back in the chat real quick before we hit this last game. Trade question. Would you trade Breece Hall for CD straight up? That's tough with the QB situation.
Yeah, I think that I would just keep Breece. I mean, I think Breece, like, we've seen enough good from him this year where you could see it kind of changing in the second half. I mean, the touchdowns has really been the thing that's kind of killed him. Just not enough touchdowns, but the scrimmage yards has been there. He's been in enough games where he's kind of dusted Braylon Allen in terms of touches and snaps. So, I mean, no, he's a good player, man. Like, I just don't believe like he's like this underwhelming running back. I get that his success rate is horrible because he's always trying to rip off this big play, kind of like a Ken Walker, where they don't move the chains, and that's kind of annoying when you're like giving him so many carries. But then when he rips off the 80-yard touchdown, you're like, oh yeah, that's why we like keep giving him the ball.
Right. Yeah. It's Josh Jacobs is the same way. It's like last week he finally ripped off the touchdown, but it's like I look at the box score and I'm like, 150 yards. This guy sucks. He didn't. Why didn't he catch 4 passes? I would have liked that. It's like PPR is kind of ruining our minds with that stuff. fantasy football in general is,
Hmm.
which is what I love more than anything in the world. Brian Thomas Jr. or Marvin Harrison Jr.
Man,
That's a spooky one, Todd.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think Brian Thomas is the better player right now, so I'm just gonna go with him and just Mac Jones pray. Let's go.
You cannot escape a good cornerback against the Jets. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to hide. Ertz back up to Ferguson. Oh, that's on Nichols' team.
Yeah. So I would just keep Ferg. Yeah, then you can move on from Ertz.
Yeah. Appreciate you too, 6char. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you want to support us, you can do so for free, hitting like and subscribe, following us on the Twitter machine, or you can support us as well and help yourself. Go over to ffpc.com, and when you sign up to play this game we're about to play, where we're going to set up a lineup, use promo code Coop. They'll give you $25 when you deposit $35 or more. So a lot of ways to support us, but liking and subscribing is free, and we appreciate all y'all. Gridiron Guru on the fence with Kincaid. Just got offered Ferg for a Dunze.
Keep Odunze, please.
Ferg, I gotta say, Ferg needs volume because he's not fast, right? Yeah. Guys that run 4.8 or slower very rarely break off big plays. I've been tracking this one, Erickson, over the last 7 years. Only one guy that runs a 4.8 or slower had more than one 40-plus yard play, and that was Kyle Rudolph. Man. Over that span, George Kittle has 18 of them.
That's awesome.
George Kittle is the only George Kittle's the only tight end with multiple 70-yard plays. He's the only tight end with multiple 80-yard plays. He is just a hammer, bro. He is an absolute monster. But yes, tight ends of Ferguson needs targets. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad tight end, but he's got to get peppered. Zach Ertz, for all the targets he's gotten during his career, had one 1,000-yard season, and he needed 156 targets to do it. That's the world that Jake Ferguson lives in. Okay, so yeah, you don't want to trade for Ferguson is what I was getting to there. Pivot to Cole Kmet after his Homer Simpson donut. No, dude, no Cole Kmet.
Just say no to Cole Kmet, man.
No, he 38% of his targets came in one game, and it was 6 weeks ago when Keenan Allen didn't play. Or whatever 11 divided by 30 is. This isn't a math show. All right, last game here. Dolphins Rams 50-point over under 1 point spread. This is the one, right?
Yes, this is going to backfill the rest of our roster because we need players, we need bodies.
We do.
I mean, they're all really good plays. It's just a matter of
typing them in and figuring it out. So
yeah,
I'm just going to do that.
Type them in.
We'll type them in.
Don't need the tight ends, though.
This is kind of the weird one, where this is the only slash on the sheet right now. The slashy. Kyron, yeah.
Kyron. And then, I mean, I don't know where we were deciding on quarterback. So I think both those guys I think are kind of in play too. Stafford, he's got all his weapons back.
We haven't really been typing quarterbacks in.
We really haven't been doing a lot of quarterbacks. So I think just
let me just go ahead and quietly put that in there because I forgot to do it. Oh, but we're going to use
Barkley. Yeah, we're getting Barkley's the lock, so Hurts bye. Sorry.
Okay, we'll type them in. Tua and also, did we mention Darnold?
Yeah, Darnold will be the one for the Vikings too. I think it's interesting.
Maybe if we're going to not use Jefferson. All right, let's jump in there because I know you got to jump. Let's do this. Look at that! Wow, movie magic.
Boom.
It jumps right over there. Okay, let's do the first thing here, and we'll go ahead. Yeah. Let's get that out of the way. Chat, let us know of all the players we threw out there. Here, I'll give you one last look at the sheet here, folks. So these are basically the guys that we think are like smash crush plays. The way FFPC works is you can use anyone you want. You just can't use two players from the same team. No salaries, no drafts, none of that junk. If you want to play over here, go to myffpc.com, use promo code Coop. They'll give you $25 when you deposit 35 or more. You can even play against us if you want. But these are the guys we're looking at: Tyrone, Chuba, Daniels, Bijan, Kamara, CMC. I mean, so to put that in perspective, we could put Bijan, Kamara, and CMC all into our lineup if we wanted, but we can't put Debo and CMC because they're on the same team. Yeah. So it gets real spicy out there, chat. Let us know if there's anybody that you like consider like a must start. So this is kind of my favorite way to do it is like, okay, we have Barkley in there. Who's another running back? Erickson. And I know at Fantasy Pros, you guys always have your rankings crisp and pristine. So who's another running back that you rank top 3, like locked in top 3?
It's Bijan. Yeah, that's the next guy for me is Bijan. So
good. Let's do that right away then.
All right.
Like that's an easy way to do it to start. Like these, let's do the running back and wide receiver spot. Let's just put your top players. So who's your top wide receiver left? Because obviously you had Chase ranked 1.
Yep. Jefferson is number 2 for me.
See, so now we have to do it, right? Unless we want to get super cute and call him the bad chalk, but you won't say it.
I just don't think he is bad chalk. Not against the Jaguars.
Well, that's the thing is that because that's how these lineups end up being. So you've expressed your concerns audibly, which is appreciated, and now we'll put them in the lineup because that's what you got to do. Who do you have at 2?
So I have AJ Brown. We already have an Eagle, so we can't use him.
Yeah.
And then the next guy is Tyreek Hill.
Okay, good. That actually solves problems for us because now we don't have to worry about Achane, right? Yep. Unless you have Achane ranked like RB3.
No, I do not.
See, great. All right, that's it. It sorted itself out. So, damn.
I mean, we can keep going down. The next receiver I have is Amon-Ra. Like, if we need a Lion, we know the Texans give up touchdowns, and how much of Stingley is he going to see? Probably not that much. I mean, what this guy is caught? I think he has like 6 games with a touchdown. He hasn't dropped a pass in 30 targets.
Dude, that one game, I swear, that one game I forget who they were crushing, but it was almost like they were like, oh, wait a second, we forgot to get Amon-Ra St. Brown as a touchdown. And they were up like 4, they were up like 40, and they threw him by a slant for like no reason or an out. Okay, so why don't we do this then? We have to have from these games, we have a Falcon. So we'll go back to the sheet real quick. 25-point implied point total. We have a Falcon. Do we have a 49er yet? We do not.
No, that's the thing we need to figure out now. Yeah. I think because the thing I'm kind of like processing in my mind. So we could try to pick which one is going to boom, right? Between Kittle, McCaffrey, Debo, whatever. Or kind of hedge, just play Purdy, and then we just automatically kind of win because it doesn't matter.
I think that's great because now we can start Kelsey at the tight end spot.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's kind of again like
I just think we're piecing it together now.
Yeah. So
because we have a Viking,
and I do think too they've been talking about McCaffrey a lot as like a receiver a little bit more than like the rushing element to him. So I think that again plays into Purdy as the quarterback because it's like, oh, it's not rushing touchdowns from McCaffrey, it's receiving touchdowns, which obviously benefits our quarterback.
Yes. Boom. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Don't run him up the gut. Use him in the flat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 3 flex spots, and then we'll backfill the kicker and defense. Players that I heard there was a little excitement in your voice along the way. I kind of middle momentum note. Tyrone Tracy was the name that had you excited.
Yes.
Right?
Tracy.
And there were some names that we put in, like you weren't super excited about Kamara, I noticed.
Yeah. I guess I wasn't that excited about him. I don't know. It's just like an older running back. He's coming off another monster workload. I get it's the Falcons, but I don't know. Maybe again, is this like, am I like, hey, this is like the chalk to fade? I don't know. Because what did you need him last week against the Panthers? Did he not score a touchdown last week?
He didn't score a touchdown, but he had 215 yards.
He did have 200. It was that high, man.
Because he had like 155 rushing yards. But that's a reason to play Tracy though, because Tracy's playing the team.
That is true. That means that is a good point.
Or we could just play them both, honestly, if we really wanted to.
I mean, I do have. I'm looking at my rankings right now. Kamara's 5th, so like it's my big brain that's kind of like taking over here. But we can do if we want to do Kamara and Tracy. Yeah, I like that.
Which is going to bring us back to the question that was always going to be the question, I think, which is Kupp or Puka Nacua.
Nacua for me. Yeah, there's no way he's going to get ejected twice in the same back-to-back games.
He's just a bad boy now. Like, what if
anything, he's going to be pissed off and try to play and outproduce Cooper Kupp. So
why isn't this pulling up? Oh, wait a second. We might be bailed out. Maybe. It looks like
he's not available.
It looks like the Germany game's not on the slate.
All right. Well, fate has decided. Fate has sealed our fate, because you know what that means. It means we can throw Mark Cooper in our lineup now. So
everything is coming together. All right. So Cooper, and then last flex has to be a Ram. So it's Kyron Williams, Cooper, Puka Nacua.
Who do I have ranked highest? Well, it's Kyron. I have ranked highest.
We can just start him.
Yeah, let's go with Kyron. Yeah, I mean, he didn't score a touchdown last week, so he's got to start a new streak. So
good.
No better time than no better time than the present.
Right. Get those guessing games off our plate. All right, let's go over projected points for defenses. We can start the Chargers against Tennessee. That sounds good.
Lock it in, dude. Lock.
That sounds great. And then for kicker, it looks like we could start Austin Seibert against Pitt, Boswell against Washington.
Legatron. Got Legatron. Aubrey for the Cowboys. They are at home, and they're probably going to kick a lot of field goals. I mean, he's probably going to be their highest scoring player on offense.
Yeah, but Cooper Rush. Should we just start Seibert?
Well, why is he questionable? Is he actually injured? I don't like that.
Jeez, he looks hungover in that picture. Why is he so sweaty, dude?
Oh, man.
Crazy.
Oh, God.
Limited with a great sign. Upgraded to limited. That's a great sign.
How did these kickers get hurt so much?
I don't know, dude. Remember when that one kicker tore his knee up, Grammatica, celebrating? Just ridiculous.
That's like the first thing that they show you in kicker school, right? It's like, don't do this.
Yeah. How are they saying injured hip? That's a great sign. That sounds terrible.
Dude, come on. Legatron, dude. Let's go. Dallas. They're playing at home, man. They're going to just kick field goal. That's going to be their strategy. Like, get to the 50, put Legatron in.
All right. That's our final lineup. Another humble lineup here of Brock Purdy, Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Kyron Williams, Alvin Kamara, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari Cooper, which is our I think that's going to differentiate for us. If he goes crazy, that can put us over the top. Travis Kelce, Brandon Aubrey, and the Chargers defense against Tennessee. I know you got to jump, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, man. It's always a blast chopping it up with you. Let everybody know what you got popping and what's going on in your world, man.
Yeah. So as you can see from this backdrop that fell about 15 minutes into the show, doing stuff over at Betting Pros, which is a sister site of Fantasy Pros. So
I didn't even put my backdrop up for this show. I didn't even put my background up for the entire show.
It's all good. We don't know what we're doing. We claim to be professionals, but
didn't do the intro. No backdrop. Yours fell during the show, so pretty good.
Yeah, man. It's a Friday, people.
Friday.
Yeah, it's 5:00 somewhere. We know that for sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Fantasy Pros, all the content, rankings. You can find me on Twitter or X at Andrew Erickson _. And if you're into like prop bets or things like that, Betting Pros has an app. It's a free app. You can download it. You can track your bet. You can track your bets. And we actually have an offer going on right now for new users. You download the app, use promo code FP free, 30 days free trial of the premium. So you get access to all the tools, the prop bet cheat sheet, the same game parlay builder. It's a lot of fun. So if you're dead in the water, you're facing an uphill battle against Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow this week, and my fantasy team is already dead, well, maybe put some bets in this week. So Betting Pros app, go download it, go check it out.
Check it out, folks. Available now, Betting Pros. You guys know where to find me. I'll be tonight, one last show today, 6 to 8 p.m., Sirius XM Channel 87. And then Sunday morning, 10 to 11, Sirius XM, and 11 to noon, right here on this channel. So make sure you're liking and subscribing. We're going to answer every question at that time. So